just a second to get started here. So we have Steve, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. Do you want to kick us off, or do you want,
Sure, I'm happy
or do you want
to.
me to lead through it, or up to you?
Well, you can drive the slides, but I'll say hi first, and then you can
Okay.
chime in as well. But as Scott has so nicely put on the slide, Happy New Year, everybody. It's great to see you. Hopefully everybody got a little bit of downtime and got to catch up on things. But since December, it's been a busy time for the project. And, it really not very long ago we launched the Agentic Top 10. So kudos to everybody who was involved in that new initiative within the group. The reception on that has been downright amazing. Hundreds of LinkedIn shares and hundreds of thousands of views and likes and all of those things. And commercial reception across the board. Really, really awesome work. So this puts us in the good news, bad news position of launching in with some momentum into 2026, but also having to figure out how do we do even better stuff this year than last year. We put the group together, uh, back in 2023. So the group will have a third birthday sometime in the next few months. Shocking to say
Yep.
that. Um, but, every year has been strength on strength. It felt like in 2023, this was more successful than we could have imagined when we first started cobbling the group together. Same for 24, same for 25. So we launch in with some great momentum. I think Scott probably has some stats and things to share in here that we were going over earlier. So just building strength on strength. Really appreciate everybody's contributions. And we have a lot of exciting work to do here because apparently uh, this Gen AI agentic thing was not a flash in the pan. Apparently, it's really going somewhere, and everyone needs our help. So, Scott?
Yeah, no, and just to kind of echo what Steve was saying, just the contributions from everybody across the project and the community, and I'll share some of the numbers that we have. And we're fortunate in that we're able to help a lot of people this way, and we're getting contributions from people who are actually doing it. So it's actually things people will use, which is really kind of the goal of this whole project to begin with. But there's a lot to do this year, and there's a lot of new opportunities for us. Last year, we set some goals at the board to kind of see if we can do more education around it. And I'll talk about some of those things coming up in some of my slides. And also to kind of see what we can do to continue to grow and scale it. So, again, thanks to everybody for their contributions. We typically, when we do these calls, we like to do kind of a welcome. So, there's new folks who are showing up all the time. So if somebody would like to kind of give a shout out, introduce themselves, we're a pretty, open team, just kind of jump on in, and contribute. If somebody would like to say hello, welcome, go ahead and raise your hand or just come off mute. I'll give a couple minutes for people to introduce themselves who might be new to this call. And don't feel like you have to. Just it's an opportunity.
But also don't be shy.
Yes, but
We
don't be
got a
shy.
lot of people on here. There must be some new people. We got 37 people on the call. Well, at least 37
Yeah, there's
entities. I can see some of
Jason's
them
got
are
a hand
clearly
raised.
AI agents.
Hi,
yeah,
I'm
we have
Kelly Matarochi. Um, I am I'm a CPA that has a very strong love for technology. I've had a lot of experience in governance and compliance along the way. Um, Tremendous amount of Sarbanes-Oxley. But I did go through the GitHub developer and have received the recruit badge for actually developing Copilot studio agents and just trying to get more involved in regard to where my passion is before I actually retire.
awesome. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Peter Ulrich here. I'm with Crow Consulting, public accounting firm. Also just left the city and county of Denver, was doing some AI governance audits. Want to get a little bit deeper into the security aspect of it, because that's the next logical step after you get governance in place, is to how do we implement the controls designed that need to protect the risk.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hey everyone, Swapnil here. This is not the first meeting, I think second, third meeting. Uh, I work as a security architect for a financial firm right here in Chicago. Looking forward to we kind of leveraging AI and other stuff, and I think this forum would like to learn more about how the agenting AI and stuff, how can we secure it in, and looking forward to the discussion, stuff like that. So, thanks everyone.
Great. Welcome. Anyone else?
Jason had his hand
Okay,
up.
well, we have a wait, was there a hand up? Did I miss?
Yeah,
Hey,
Jason
sorry.
Freeman had a hand up.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. Hey, how you doing? My name is Jason. I work at AWS. I recently just switched over to AI role. I've been lurking here a few times, just trying to absorb as much information about the project and see what I can implement in what I do. So, how you doing?
Welcome, Jason. So we have a lot of slides, I think, to get. I was looking through the slides just before we started, so I think we've got a few more content to kind of get through. Again, since it's the first of the part of the year, I think we've got some stuff that we just kind of set the stage for us, and then we'll dive into some of the more meaty pieces around each of the work streams. I see most of the work stream leads have slides in, so we'll be able to see kind of the status of each of the work streams, get everybody up to speed. Since this is our first meeting of the year, just a reminder, this year we were doing a bi-weekly cadence. We've moved to a monthly cadence for this meeting. The reason for that is that there are a ton of working groups. As Steve mentioned, we've expanded in so many ways. We've got 8 working groups at a minimum. Some of those working groups have multiple meetings within them because they have substreams. And so it made a lot more sense for us to be able to get people together more regularly on a monthly basis and allow people to connect into the working areas. So we've moved to a monthly cadence. So make sure, I'm assuming since you're here, you've updated your Zoom links and your calendar links, but just in case, just a reminder to do that for people who may be watching this after the fact. So I'm going to touch on a couple things we've done from an operations perspective. Number one, and this is for all the team leads, a reminder that we need to get your updates to the project roadmap. So I sent this link out to everybody. I did a clean sheet this year. So I know we had things into the first 2 quarters of last year on the last roadmap, but for fun, I just cleaned it up and said, let's go back and just make sure everybody's got everything in so that we have that up to date. So we have a date of the 21st. So if you can do that and get your updates in, I know many of the working groups have meetings set. That would be great. Or obviously we may get some of that information from the slides today that just needs to be consolidated here. This is important because this gives everybody who's new to the project, this is what we publish on our website, a place to go to figure out what's coming next, where they can contribute, etc. So it also helps us when we plan some of our outreach. So please have a look at getting this updated. I see, Ite, you have your hand raised.
What about the AI VSS over here?
So AI VSS is an OWASP project, but it's not part of this initiative. The agentic security group has worked with that project. So we are a collection of a set of projects. We don't have all of OWASP here, but we do interact with other OWASP projects outside of the Gen AI security project, even though we're a project of projects. So for that one, I think John is on later. Maybe he can talk to what they're doing with that particular project. So we do work with a lot of other projects. Also on that point, we also work with other standards groups. So we now have our project with a seat on the TC committee for OASIS. And so we are working with other organizations to connect as well, not just the OWASP projects. New for everybody. So we have a new GitHub repo. Thanks ads for helping kind of get this implemented. The reason we moved to this new GitHub repo is because we become a project of projects. We wanted to be able to have one place for all of our GitHub projects. As we've grown so quickly, we've ended up with a lot of different GitHub projects and people's individual GitHubs. And this makes it easier for people to find things and also for us to kind of continue to grow. So we're going to continue to still have the top 10 GitHub that exists today. That's not necessarily going away, but it is migrating some of that or mirroring some of that onto this site as we kind of go forward. So, and the other piece was when we were running with our other GitHub, it didn't give us the opportunity to give initiative leaders control over their GitHub, so they could do they could go ahead and accept changes, etc. So this gives us a full GitHub for us to operate off of at an organization level. If you have questions about migration or what you need to do to get your projects up there, because I know I've spoken to many of you about moving things in, you can also reach out to either to me or to reach out to ads, and he can help you with that migration. All right, so looking at 2025. So some fun things we're starting to collect to give an idea of kind of the engagement and what we achieved out of the last year. So on the publication side, we put out 37 different publications. This community, that's a tremendous amount of guidance put it out. So I wanted to just celebrate that with everybody here. Also, our volunteers that did translations, we've ended up with 11 of those localized. So we now support for our top 10 documents, we support somewhere around 12 different languages, which is great. Our LinkedIn group continues to grow. We've now at 22,000 followers and growing. And so it's awesome to kind of see the community engage. Our Slack continues to grow. So we saw, if we looked at all of our 14 channels that we have in Slack that cover the different work groups, we've got a good size number there. And we're also looking at just on our general Gen AI channel, it continues to get larger. From last year, we're at almost a 50% growth year over year from 2024 to 2025. Also, we're getting recognized. So our website, we've got almost 1.5 million views from 2020 from this last year. The one thing that really surprised me was the amount of downloads. So we're over 1,000 average downloads a day of the resources that we have published, which is tremendous. And we continue to still get recognition on our GitHub, so that grows. One of the things we'll talk about in the outreach side is what we're doing on the education, which is around our events. So when we looked at what we did in 2024, we had about 500 to 600 people attend events. In 2025, we hosted 7 events ourselves, which we had over 5,000 attendees at these 7 events. These were ones that our project put on, some of it in concert with some sponsorships that helped us fund these. In addition, we started to track how much of our content is being used. So the community is creating the content, it's open source, and we're providing it out for people to use. We began to track kind of how many different conferences where we have sessions that people are using the content, which is what the whole goal is. And so our back of the napkin calculation, and we're going to do a little bit better with some agents that I've written that will help us track this on an ongoing basis. But we identified more than 62 individual events across vendor events, industry events, some vertical events, including financial services, healthcare, government events where we had sessions that people were giving. And some of these were people in the project. A lot of these were other people who have taken on the content and presenting it as part of another context. So we have a huge number of adoption of the content, which is in guidance, which is fabulous. any questions or comments? I promise we're going to get to the more fun technical stuff soon, but I'm
I
going to
just
bore you
comment
just
that
a little
it's
bit longer.
I just comment that it's awesome. So keep going.
So I'm going to spend just a couple of minutes to talk on outreach, and then we'll dive into more of the project specific work stream updates. So we've kicked off our planning for 2026. Our goal is to. Last year we're always very nimble kind of organization. We kind of jump in and just kind of do stuff when it comes up to take advantage of things. We want to kind of keep that same kind of nimble kind of approach that we had. But by the same token, we want to understand where we've got some key milestones or key big events or activities that we're doing, so we can be a little bit more planned in that and make sure we've got the maximum resource and make the maximum impact we can. So with that, we're starting our 2026 planning. Kicked that off actually yesterday for the outreach team. We're looking at what our key events are. We're looking at improving our ability to do things like track CFP submissions so that we can continue to keep those numbers up to date. We have some key dates that we're trying to get to. So by the 10th of February, we want to get to a plan of record that's published for everybody, what our outreach is. Kind of like what we've done before with the roadmaps for the last couple of years, but have an outreach plan that will change. It will get updated, but it will be a plan of record that everybody can see and everybody can be aware of. So we can make sure we're targeting that. So we have a process to start to collect new marketing activities, budget request submissions. And so that's starting right now. And it's open to actually to okay. So how does our process work? It's open for the outreach team. You can join the outreach working group if you'd like. It's not a special group, but just anybody who wants to contribute to it. So we've got two steps we're doing right now to do our planning. One is we want to be able to support any kind of industry events that we want to go do. These may be on our list, may not be on our list. If there are sponsors or vendor events we want to do, let's make sure we've got those incorporated. We have capability to do webinars and blogs, and so looking to kind of get proposals around each of these. We're also trying to capture things like campaigns, and campaigns is an example. We have like the adoption campaign happening out of the Agentic initiative, which has a collection of different things we're doing, from social posts to webinars to videos, etc. So we're trying to create a way to capture all of those into one initiative or one campaign so that we can help organize that. And this is going to help us to make sure we can continue to execute and continue to drive things out. Again, this is designed to give us a baseline plan, not to be everything for all time, but it gives us an ability to kind of have a baseline to operate from and go forward. Yeah. Also, if there's any items that require budget, we do have budget as a project. We do get our sponsor funding, which is really important for us to be able to do the things that we do to help the teams be successful. And so that by entering any of the activities that have a budget requirement, we're asking people to kind of put that in as well. So real simple process, fill out 2 forms. Here's what I want to do. Here's what it's going to cost. And then we'll rationalize that against our plans for and goals for the 2026 timeframe. We have 3 events, I'll call them right now, that we have set or our major activities for 2026 we already know of. RSA conference. We are on target for that. That's going to be on the 25th, and I'll go into details on that in a second. The other event is, again, we partnered with the Cyber Risk Alliance. We've renewed that barter relationship. If you're not familiar with them, they do a lot of media, they do a lot of events, they coordinate that. They helped us last year put together our first virtual event in October. That's now scheduled for May. We're going to do it a little bit earlier, so it fits though within the other schedules. And then the last thing we're adding this year is InfoSecurity Europe. So the team that runs InfoSecurity Europe London reached out and wanted to establish that. And that was a part of our goals for this year of making sure we are being more global in our efforts. And so those are sort of the three key events that we're trying to circle around. We also have a variety of other events that we've done this last year, including some of the OWASP events, the Black Hat events, and so the team is coming back with details and suggesting other events that we may do. So, for example, we kicked off the top 10 for Agentic at our Black Hat Las Vegas side event. Thanks to our friends at Tenable who provide us with space for that. We also did our Agentic launch just in London back in December, and that was supported, and that was alongside the Black Hat Europe event, and that was supported by F5. So we're going to be looking at the planning to kind of figure out what these next tier of events are going to be that we can do, and also make sure that we have the ability to support them. Because as you know, everybody here is contributing a lot of their extra time to do this, and so we want to make sure that it is something we can resource and do a good job with. So I'm going to move quickly on these. So RSA, our summit is set for the 25th from 8:30 to 12:30. We have a new configuration for the room. I complained last year that it was too much of a narrow hallway. So they listened and we reconfigured the rooms. So it'll be easier for us to actually see people in the back and stay engaged with them. We had a full house last year, but it was just hard when you're all the way in the back. So this will be easier for us. So we'll have this configuration and it'll be set for us for that day. Last year, we did our open workshop at the Spur on the same day. Problem is the Spur was not available on the Wednesday, so it's available on the Thursday. So we're looking to do our open workshop on the Thursday of the event, but in the morning, since we know a lot of people bag out in the afternoon, or maybe this year want to go see. I can't remember who the headliner is this year, but want to go see the headliner. So that's been announced. And then we're working right now on figuring out what our community party is and where we're going to do that. And so there's a bunch of interesting ideas with that. And we're also taking in some additional project sponsorships to do that. And so I think we'll have a really cool event. Just stay tuned on that one. May 27th, again, we have our virtual conference, half-day event. Last year we had about 2,500 attendees. We had 3 tracks, 23 sessions around project and the community, and sponsors, of course, and they represent about 26 organizations that were contributing to that. So there will be a call for papers that's going to go out in the next month. So we'll start to collect some community sessions, and then we'll start working through that agenda coming forward. But that's next, coming up here the 27th. Also, as I mentioned, for InfoSec Europe, there will be there as well. We're looking at potentially what's proposed right now by the team, and I'm meeting with them on Friday, is they're looking for a one-day security summit where we'll do an AI security summit. There's an opportunity to do some workshops, so I have some more specifics around that. And then we want to do sort of a solutions booth for people who have implemented the top 10s in their products to kind of highlight their adoption of some of the technologies and guidance that the project has promoted. And so that'll be a piece of that. So more details to come on that, but that's in June. That's in June 2nd through the 4th at the Excel Center in London. Last thing we did, we're also going to be at this upcoming NDC Security in Oslo in March. This is a OWASP Global Project Workshop. So this is where the OWASP brings together a lot of the different project teams to kind of be able to work on their projects, provide feedback. So we have a couple sessions there, as well as a workshop with working with the different OWASP project areas. Okay, that's enough of that stuff. Now we get into some actual content.
All right. So would you go ahead and go forward one, Scott? So now that we have 2 top 10 lists, I'm just going to refer to the original one as the core list. And So if you were playing along second half of last year when we renamed the project from the LLM top 10 project to the Gen AI project, we renamed all the channels. I broke off a separate channel for this core top 10 for LLMs. If you recall, we put out the last version of this at the very end of 2024 and called it the 2025 list, which means it's a little more than a year old. Um, there are a lot of questions about how we proceed with this. And one thing that I'd been very sure I wanted to do is let that agentic top 10 list get out and let it marinate with the community a little bit and gauge the response. I think we definitely have that at this point, and that we have a lot of people who've read and digested that document. Because I think a lot of the challenge with the next version of this core LLM top 10 is to reconcile it with that agentic top 10. My gut has always been that we want to maintain two lists, but there's a possibility maybe the agentic one is just the new list. Um, Looks like Scott might have gotten dropped. Um, I'll see if I can bring up the slides in case he doesn't come
I'm
back.
I'm here. I'll bring them right back up. We just had
Okay.
a little glitch on my side, so keep
All
talking.
right.
You'll have the slides shortly.
So, in terms of the core questions that we have to resolve, the first one is, do we rev the list at this time, or do we let it ride for a while longer? Um, if we do rev it, how heavily do we go in and do surgery? Is it basically a minor revision? And, I think obviously over the course of the last 12 months, if you look at any of the entries, there's probably improved guidance, better examples, all of those things. I think there is also, I think we would want to backlink it to the agentic top 10, where we want to reference some of those more strongly. On the other hand, while I tend to have strong opinions loosely held on a lot of things related to this core list, um, it's entirely possible that people would push to really do a larger rethink on this. And I'm certainly open to that. Um, the last one, this has come up in a few places. It's come up in some very long, well-read threads on LinkedIn, and I think Jason's brought it up here, is there are issues of what I will call definitional wrangling. And this is like, is such and such a vulnerability or an attack vector or this or that? Uh, I don't think this is the place to get into that, but I think we need to attack it. And so what I'm planning to do later this month is put out an initial call for input. As in the past, I will do this by providing a write-up of what kind of input we are seeking and providing a Google form for people to ship back that feedback in a categorized way. I will then use some of my favorite analytics tools to provide some summaries of what that is, share that back off with the community, and use that to kick off the discussions about how we want to approach this. So I'll just pause there. Obviously, we're not going to get into resolving these questions on the call today because we have a lot to get through, but general comments on this as a topic or um, anything else somebody would like to mention related to this.
I have a quick question regarding that definition wrangling because we see that quite often here at Microsoft, where they come with one thing and you're like, that's not really what, I don't think you think that is exactly what it is. Do we have an ongoing list of these questions that need clarification that we should find an authoritative source to be the true defining factor on this is what this means and this is what this is, and as a community, if you have any objections, here's the request for comments to the RFC to request a change to that.
Well, I think it's, by the way, great question. I think at some level the trick is we are the authority.
Right.
And so a lot of this is us arguing amongst ourselves about what we think is the right answer. And, we have had randoms hanger-ons in the community or outside of the community who've read the documents and posted objections and commentary, and that's all actually valid. And I love debating that stuff. But I think as a group, we need to decide some of these definitions, which, even these basic definitions of like what's a vulnerability are mushy in the community at large. And then there's also the history of OWASP and is our top 10 lists actually lists of vulnerabilities or not? I'd say history says no, but we need to decide what we want to do. So I think that's part of this is us kind of rallying ourselves, reestablishing our norms, and giving us a clear path to move forward. I see Jason, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I just plus one to that, right? Right now, there is not clear authoritative voice talking about this. There's a whole lot of people voicing opinions and a whole lot of we really need to come together and figure out what this is. And I think some of the community is looking to OAuth to be the ones to help set that path. I think if we do that, then at least it gives people a starting point to have further arguments
Well, I didn't want to
about
be
it.
presumptuous and say like, well, this is what we say it is, and so it is. And I think that if we can go to other sources and say like, we say that this definition is this definition, and here's some additional evidence to back up our claim for that. I think that's going to be an important aspect in order to claim that authority. Is there an ongoing list of things that people are saying is the dispute, right? What are the ones that are
Just to
specifically coming up?
call a
Yeah, we
spade a spade, the big argument right now is all around prompt injection and what is it and
oh
what do we call it and how do we talk about it? And
Yeah,
um,
and we're facing a big one right now because prompt injection and jailbreak are so closely intertwined. We
right.
get we get vulnerability reports of prompt injections, and you're like, it's a jailbreak. It's not really the same.
Yeah.
I think
Hmm.
that was that the those side by sides have been discussion points since 2023, and the
Yep.
project has a point of view, but this is our ability. This is our chance to evolve that point of view. So
Mm.
don't
So,
think here, but that is the crux of what we want to attack as initially as this sort of call for input, and then some of the discussion that follows.
so
Yeah,
my
we
my
also
2 cents on it is as the person's been working on the prompt injection thing for a while. I really want to have that discussion. I want I would like that discussion to be in depth and to be aired and to give it the oxygen that it deserves, right? But I think that there's so much involved in that, especially now as we're looking at linking that with Agentix 10. My 2 cents is I would love to do like a light touch over our core 10, do a little bit of update, and then I don't know if we can communicate it at the same time, but very specifically give that oxygen, maybe in multiple meetings, maybe in a dedicated channel. We do have the dedicated prompt injection channel, and give that a timeline, right? Give that a good however long it's going to be, 90 days, 6 months, and let people duke it out to the point we can have that discussion very well documented. So in the future, because this isn't the the questions and the things that are being brought up, it's not like that's going to go away as things go down. It would be great if what we come to as a decision, we've documented the issues people have raised and sort of how we came to the conclusions we came. So in the future, if somebody is like, I think we should change prompt injection for XYZ reasons, we can look back at that discussion and see if that is something that we already discussed, that we had an evidenced reason for arriving to our conclusion, and has the facts of that changed? Is there new information? Is new intelligence, right? Um, because I think I like you said, Steve, spade a spade. That's the one that's kind of
getting the heavy feedback of, maybe this doesn't even need to be on the top 10 at all. I've heard that, right? It's not really a vulnerability, it's endemic. I've heard a lot around that.
By the
Um,
way, none of that changed since 2023. We had first people popped in the first meeting says prompt injection's not a thing. It's so,
oh yeah,
but I agree with you in general. I think this is a place for us to reopen the patient, be clear with our thinking. I love the idea of documenting it and posting it clearly.
that's the key part, right, Steve, is
Yeah.
exactly like you said. This is something that was really hashed out several times now. But I think maybe what we could do with this one is document it in a way that's very public facing, right? Like even if it's like FAQs about the prompt injection entry, right? Like why is it worded how it's worded? If we can just kind of document what that discussion was and how we came to the point we came, maybe it'll help people, especially as we have new people come on board and things like that. Maybe it'll help us focus in the coming years what we really want to look at in that definition that we haven't already hashed out 2, 3 times.
Yep.
I
All right.
agree. We need to be transparent in that, and especially if I'm understanding you correctly, the proposal is to take prompt injection off the list of vulnerabilities.
No, that's not my,
There-
no, to
There
be
are
clear,
no
that is not
proposals
my
at this point.
suggestion. It
Okay.
is a suggestion
Okay.
that has been put out there, right?
Okay.
So because I've been working on the prompt injection entry itself, people tell me all their sort of ideas around that, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that one's an invalid idea. I understand the arguments on both sides. My feeling is that it's a vulnerability because social engineering is a vulnerability, right? You're just
Yeah.
social engineering a computer. It's
Yeah.
not any different than saying social engineering the help desk is a vulnerability. It's a
Yeah.
it is a aspect where a threat actor can make an action on that will realize risk. To me, that's vulnerability.
All right,
But I'm
folks.
saying those things deserve the oxygen, I guess.
I knew this would happen when I brought it up. This is not the meeting to dive into this, but I did want to broadcast to the larger project that these are the questions we're going to go tackle. So the commentary here today is great. It's in line with why I brought these up, and I think what some of the big questions are for this core list. I think the thing to remember is this has become the underpinning of how a lot of the industry talks about anything related to security and LLMs. So it's an important resource that we have, and it has a lot of leverage. So with that, I'm just going to say we should move on because we got a bunch of other projects to hear updates from. So let's keep going.
I was about to interrupt, so yes. All right. So do we have Helen on?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, AI Bomb
Hi.
Initiative.
Hi, everybody. You may advance the slide. I will be quick here. So we have launched the AI Bomb initiative in December. And thank you, everybody who helped in the background pushing this forward, at who also moved the GitHub repository and prepared this for us. So kickoff happened last week, and we meet on weekly basis. The tool is available. So what we are doing right now, we are collecting feedback and prioritizing the requirements, and already have a first draft of the handbook, and working in the meantime on the next features and updates and bug fixes. In a nutshell, our iteration here is going up to March. So we are aiming for RSA timeline when we will release the next high priority updates for the tool and handbook hand to hand, so that we have a complete overview of it for our users. After that,
So-
we have, go ahead. Question?
Oh, so Helen, could you do just a quick, because I know there's a lot of new people on the call, could you do just a quick overview, 2 seconds, on kind of what the initiative is and what you're trying to accomplish?
Oh, yes. Thank you for that. I'm boiling in my own soup and forgot.
Yeah,
So
that's all right.
yes. So with this initiative, we are aiming to improve industry's AI transparency. So AI bomb is an extension use case of SBOM, software bill of material. So we are aiming to bring transparency to model components, how it's built, what are the dependencies, and map them to risks and further decisions that security experts need to do when they're consuming open source models. Right now, it's working primarily for Hugging Face, but long term, we're looking into supporting other platforms as well. And the tool currently provides the generation of industry standard format CycloneDX. SPDX is a peer format that will be also provided by end of this month. And also it provides the completeness scoring and field prioritization because currently the models are documented in various ways and it's very inconsistent. So anybody generating AI bomb would want to understand how complete from the full completeness my model is. Do I need to worry about anything else? And this will give a sense of understanding and human readable description of what is missing or what is not missing.
That's great.
Yeah, so thank you, Scott. Like I said, we are aiming for March for RSA to have a next update of the more fields, capabilities, and the handbook draft. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay.
All right.
We'll move on.
Thanks.
Hey, hi there. Super excited for the previous two initiatives. I'm also doing it from a normally quiet Greek cafe. I hope it's not too noisy because I have a few teenagers there kind of shouting to each other. Anyway, so let's move on to the next slide, Scott. Steve already mentioned the top 10 for agentic applications is out. The link is there. Anyone who's watching this call, they can download it and start looking at it. It has been a massive consultation period with many enterprises, standards organizations, national cybersecurity agencies, including some of the standards groups from OWASP. So AVSS is one of them. They're not part of our project, but we work very closely. There is a mapping within the document, so I encourage everyone to download the top 10. We also try to map, and Steve and Ads, thank you very much for your help, to align with the core top 10 so that, you know, there is an alignment there. If we go to the next step, to the next slide, Scott. And we did that with a massive community launch in London. Again, as Scott said, we want to be as global as possible. So we did the Agentic Security Summit during the Black Hat Europe, and we launched the top 10 fantastic panels. Helen, Rock, and others were and Evgeny on the panel. So fantastic work there. If you missed it, there is a recorded live stream. I've got the QR code there where you can watch and you can see all the conversations around the top 10, the entry leads explaining you know, the individual entries. Rachel also joined us on some interesting red teaming panels. A lot of content there that I think people will find useful. And you go to the next slide, Scott.
Yeah, let me comment on one thing too. Also, just the videos. So we're doing some updates to our YouTube, which will have been happening this week. And so you'll have each of those sessions will be broken out separately. So you'll be able to look at each one of those sessions rather than watch the whole live stream. You'll be able to click into each one of those sessions, and that'll be up at the end of the week.
Fantastic.
So
thank you, Scott.
That'll be a great, yep. Want to make sure that folks knew that was happening, make it even easier to consume.
Yeah. And we have already seen, and Scott, I'm sure you're tracking and you'll share an update at some point, but we're seeing, you know, publicity, we're seeing other people covering the top 10. I've put there some titles there. There is an AI Cyber Magazine article coming in the next edition. So a lot is happening, a lot of traction there. And if you go to the next slide, Scott.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. So
Please do.
with our outreach that we've been doing, I'll have a full report of all the different articles that have been coming up. I also want to thank everybody who contributed quotes to the launch. That really kind of helped a lot of people kind of pick up and understand not just that the project's doing, but everybody who's been part of contributing is out there. So I'll have some more detailed stats, but it's a tremendous pickup. It's actually more pickup than we've had. Frankly, with the last top 10, the agentic one has kind of exceeded that. So we have a new challenge for the top 10 project for the next release.
And many thanks to you, Scott. You took it to the next level. We've never seen anything like this, the responses that we got. And we keep getting on a daily basis, people approaching us, asking for information on how to utilize the top 10 in their work. So if you go to the next slide, Scott. So this is kind of something we wanted to make sure that the top 10 isn't just a list of risks, that we're very keen to highlight that. So we have this, Scott, we still have to rename it, Make It Happen program, which is how do we take this list and actually make it a living document?
It's fine.
Let's give it that then. I know Rob wanted to call it Getting S Done, but I thought, no, that's a little bit too far. So
yeah,
the adoption challenge. The adoption challenge, I will talk a little bit more about that. Before I carry on, the top 10 has been a fantastic experience. And I wanted to pay tribute both to the entry leads that we had there, and we had many, and I know some of you are on the call, but also Karen Katz, who led the top 10 project. She's been a fantastic source of energy and to a great degree why we had, the success that we did. So the adoption challenge is something that we'll talk a little bit in a while, in the next slide, where we want basically organizations to start talking to us how they adopted, provide showcases, provide self-certification. It's kind of a longer term program with an immediate target for RSA. We also want to make sure that we are consistent. So AC, for those of you who know, we have published before the top 10, something like 6 different guidelines from covering the entire life cycle. So we want to go back and update them so that they are consistent, they back reference the top 10, and we don't create confusion. And we're also working with people, the AIEC one, we already started working with them, with the NIST TSF. Miter Atlas, we're having a call with the team there. I'm part of HC, so I'm submitting also an addendum there to map to our top 10. So there is a kind of an overall movement to, yes, we have different voices, but we're aligned, we have the same narrative. And of course, when we talk about our mitigations, we talk to many people there. Some of them are very aspirational. So how do we make sure, or some of them take effort to implement. So how do we talk to startups, to national research organizations so that they use our top 10 as a guideline to prioritize research and even investment. I had an investment firm contacting me to to discuss how the top 10 can become an instrument for that. And as of last week, we've agreed with the UK government's the labs for agentic security research to be part of their advisory board, so that top 10 and the work that the project does influences and informs the kind of research programs. We will update the code samples. We will provide additional topical guidance. Big shout out to, apart from the teenagers over there, to Ron, who's been talking to various people, including some top people at Lovable and NextDeepMind, and they want to help us expand a little bit the guidance with more targeted, like, the things like vibe coding, which all the rage with Lovable. So this is the direction that we're taking. If you go to the next slide, Scott, and I promise to hurry up. This is the first step, the first milestone we have in front of us. Karen, Rock, and Eva have been spearheading this. We want organizations to come and talk to us of how they implemented the top 10. We want to highlight those showcases, the RSA, and some other events that we'll organize. I'm planning to do something in London instead of coming to RSA. So keep an eye, if you're watching this video and you're interested, the QR code will take you to the phone. Next step, next slide, please, Scott. And this is part of a roadmap, the things that I said. And I wanted to say that through the top 10, AC has changed too. It isn't just a project that I and Ron started. It's a project with massive participation and a leadership team that I wanted to say thank you. I've got them all there. This team is talking to me actually after this call, where we're taking all the things that I talked about and updating our roadmap, a very bold, very ambitious roadmap that will then feed back to Scott's spreadsheet. And if you go to the next slide, please. This is my last one. And so the core team is spearheading that, but we lead a group of equal voices. So come and join us. Next Tuesday, we will be taking people through the draft so that people are clear of where they can participate and where they can contribute, give us their feedback, give us their ideas, and keep progressing the roadmap. And that's my update. So many thanks to everyone who participated in the top 10 and ASA.
Thanks, John. Congratulations, everyone. It's a tremendous amount of work. All right, moving on.
Hello, this is me, I guess. You can just go right to the next slide.
Right.
So super short and simple. We've got one slide here, but a lot of things happening right now. So we're taking advantage of the new year to kind of housekeep and shore up. Basically, we looked at the agentic initiative and felt shame at how undeveloped we were. So we're looking to step it up and compete with the agentic initiative and the cool things that they're doing. Part of that
Awesome.
is we noticed we don't have a team initiative charter yet, and I think most of the initiatives don't right now. Agentic is one that does, but we're looking to fix that. So Sonu and I are gonna sit down and create the initiative charter and map that out. Part of that is going to feed the roadmap update once we get that over to you a little bit later this week or next. As far as things that we're doing right now, we've got 3 work streams currently going on. I'm going to take them in reverse order, kind of, on this. So vendor evaluation criteria document is the first one. That document's mostly done. We're going through some final review right now and some final inputs. I need to figure out the logistics part of coordinating the announcements and disclosures and all that, all the logistics part of releasing that document. I've started that process. Scott, you've given me some links. I think there's some that I'm still waiting on, but basically, I think that's the only thing that's standing in the way right now of releasing that doc is the logistics part of releasing it.
Yeah, one of the things, the main thing I need from you right now is the draft document that I can push off, and then we can get that laid out, and so get that back to you. So that's the one thing that's kind of pending.
All right, cool. Second one, I'm going to go back up to the AI Red Team Handbook for the next one. We're targeting Q1 for that. TBD if that's like March or April, not quite clear yet. But where we are right now is we've got a ton of content in there. It's unique content. It's different from the AI VSS stuff in a lot of different ways. But right now we're at a point where we've been focusing on getting content in there and haven't really been paying attention to document structure and format, and that's kind of getting in the way now of moving forward. So we've paused edits on the doc for now. Sonu and I are going to take the next couple weeks and go clean it up and make it look more like a formal doc. And then we're going to reopen the edits and be able to move forward with that new thing. So that's where we are with that right now. Still planning Q1 sometime for that for release. Um, any questions on that, I guess? Cool. And then the next thing is we've decided to break out the Git repo into its own work stream. We've got a lot of activity going on there. A couple of contributors are helping out with that. So there's most of the activity right now is around supporting content for the handbook. So everything that we talk about as an attack type in the handbook, we're planning to have agentic code examples and demo attacks in the code base for. So that's one of the things that we're doing with that right now. But we've got some other things that we're planning to do with that. So Git repo is its own work stream. Obviously, the handbook related stuff will be released with the handbook, but that's just going to be an ongoing initiative project. It's not going to have a end date. I don't think that's just going to be an infinite project. That's it for me.
Any questions for Jason? Awesome. Okay, we'll move on to our next one. Data Security Initiative, Emmanuel?
Yeah, that's me.
Yes.
Morning, everyone. So next slide, please, Scott. I'll be short and sweet. So the goal here is for us to zoom in a little bit and look at data specifically. So we have a questionnaire open, and we expect to get some responses by the January 16th. So we have laid out a document in where we wrote out 25 entries specifically related to data security, where we are looking for some input, and that will help us to upgrade our data security best practices and controls. So we want to lay out some controls and auditing that can be done, as well as working on the upgrade of the mappings to the different cybersecurity frameworks that we've done in the past since we move to the new Git repo. So as we migrate this, I want to make sure we have that updated. During this year, those are the two major updates for everyone interested. Please help us spread the word and join us in the channel. Next slide, it's have our roadmap for updating the document. So we are on the first sprint there, and also looking to publish in March. So that's it from us. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay. Yep, join in and help us, because this is the next the 2.0 version of the documents, and I think there's some changes that we're looking to make. So getting some feedback on that the questionnaire would be awesome. Okay, I think this is Sandy.
Yes. Yes, and this is short and sweet, just basically saying I'm committed to updating the roadmap. The purpose of both the checklist and Compass has always been to take all of the good guidance that we provide and then provide resources so that people can operationalize it. So I will get an update, and all communication will be on the Team Gen AI Security Governance channel. If you're interested in being part of this update for both documents and tools.
Awesome. Thanks, Sandy. I know we're right up against it. Let's see. I'll talk about solutions landscape real quickly. So for Q1, and I mentioned this, I think at the end of just before the holidays kicked in, so I want to recommend it or mention it again now. So we're refactoring our document. It's grown. So what this does is it provides a matrix and listing of all of the solutions that can then be applied to our top 10 and other guidance. So we're separating it out. It's become almost 200 pages, which is unmanageable. So as part of that, we're separating it out into 3 documents. There'll be the taxonomy that'll be represented. There's then sort of the SecOps frameworks that we've defined as part of that document. And then there'll be a landscape matrix per area. So for top 10 for LLM, for agentic, and then also for the red teaming one, which is taking input right now. So that's one in work, and that'll get released in Q1. So if you're interested in helping contribute to any one of those components, please do join us. And I do notice that I forgot to include the Slack link here on this particular one. So I can send that. If people reach out to me, I can get you to the Slack. It just follows our same format, team, that GenAI solutions landscape. The other big piece that we're doing for mid Q1 update is we're doing a major rearchitecture of the solutions database. It was originally designed to not necessarily contain as many solutions as we now have listed there. So by mid Q1, we will do a full refresh of the user experience. We're re-architecting the data model, make it simpler, more extensible for as we continue to add more resources and guidance so we can extend that to it. And then we're also streamlining the contribution process. It is a heavily manual process right now, and we need to kind of move it from manual to much more of a review process. And so we'll be in the process of doing that. I did some initial work on this over the holidays, took some spare time, did out the new data model, and so we'll start doing the implementation over the next couple of months. We will continue to do monthly updates while we're doing the changes still. So we'll keep updating the current one, but that's a big shift for us. It's a big lift, bigger lift than I was expecting, but we want to make sure it's usable for people, able to search things. So that's coming in big Q1. Cyber threat intelligence.
Hey folks, just go ahead, please.
Yep.
So just kind of quick overview, our current priorities. We're thinking about revisiting the charter scope of the initiative to just better reflect the output, since we do put out kind of CTI related materials, but we've also been doing kind of like incident handling guidance, which does remind me we're starting to think about revising the AI incident response guide. And as part of that is enhancing cooperation with the Agentic Top 10 team. Kind of a big gap in the current AI IR guide is specific guidance around, incidents involving agents. And so we hope to have a new and shiny section around that in the next version. We're also looking to, kind of work through and then publish phase 2 of exploit research, and then finally get the deepfake guide out this month, which faced some annoying, kind of delays. In any case, we have 2 upcoming meetings, the exploit generation meeting, as well as on 2/6. We have initiative open meeting. So if you're at all interested in the CTI initiative, please join that meeting. That's 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, and the join information can be found in the channel. Let me see if Rachel's on the call. If she wants to add anything, feel free to jump in, but that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think you covered it great, Brian. We're doing a little wordsmithing on that charter piece. So Scott, I know we're a little bit late with getting that over to you, but we're making some great progress. And thank you all for bearing with me as I do some catch up. I've been I was in Japan for a few weeks and just was away from everything digital. So I'll be reaching out. I'm just playing catch up in messages. So if you've sent me some messages on Slack, I will respond to them. It's just it's been a little bit tough with being on PTO. Well, tough and nice.
Awesome. Any questions for the team? Okay, well, I think that brings us to other business, and we're kind of out of time. So I want to be respectful of people's schedules as well, and want to thank everybody who brought together everything for the different working groups to help us kind of get a first start here on 2026. I know this is a long session today. I think we're going to end up having some more drill downs as we go forward, but also it's great to have everybody kind of jump into the work streams. Now you know kind of where the different work streams are in the state. You could jump into the different Slack channels and start contributing. We will have this again next month. So we are again on that monthly cadence. And then with that, I want to open it up to any last comments or before we close today's meeting.
Yeah, final comment for me. I said it at the top, it's amazing to see the work the group is doing, but just seeing what we saw in the last hour here and seeing all of these engaged initiatives and leads, amazing work. Thank you for putting that together for today. But more importantly, really shows what we have ahead for us for the year. So exciting times. Thanks everybody for your participation.
Yes, and thanks everyone. So this will be available on recording, so feel free to share. If you know somebody who's missed the recording, send a link around and help them get caught up. Thanks again. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye, folks.
Thanks. You too.